Hello and welcome to Sunrise Tarot. My name is Leah and today I'm doing a reading for the sign of Aquarius for the second part of August 15th through the 31st. Please remember that this is a general reading. There may be some parts that do not resonate with you. Please take what does and leave the rest. You may also want to check out your other signs. Also, I've already meditated on the cards. I've already shuffled the cards, and this is the wonderful spread that I have for you today. In the past position, we have the Page of Swords, clarified by the Star. In the challenging obstacle position, we have the Emperor, clarified by the Six of Swords. In the present, the Moon, clarified by the King of Cups. And in the future outcome is the Glorious Sun, clarified by the Justice. In the past position, we've got the Page of Swords, which generally suggests youthful energy. It's a very appropriate place for the Page of Swords to be because pages are generally immature. They still have, ways to go. For example, the King of Cups, is far more advanced than the Page of Cups. Just like if this was a King of Swords, he would be far more of an authority figure and have so much more weight than the Page of Swords. But in the past position, the Page of Swords means that, you've grown, you've had things that you've experienced, you've gone through a few lessons, and so you're using all of that for the situations that you are experiencing today. You have the experience from the past because you've made mistakes, you've learned from those mistakes, you've grown from those mistakes. Of course, the Star generally means a wish granting card. It could also be about finding a peace of mind, about getting some healing, getting some rest. It could be for some of you about struggling with something, but then overcoming it and coming out, sort of successfully. The Page of Swords is someone who is generally very intelligent. He's got a big intellect. He's someone that can be at times blunt. He's someone that can be not sort of patient or at times not so warm. I mean, he is capable of sort of saying something that cuts right through the different things and just goes for the really maybe sometimes at times painful thing. So the Page of Swords can also be a little bit of aggressive. He could also have a little bit of a temperament, but he's someone who is very curious, someone who is gathering different pieces of knowledge, and then not really understanding how all those pieces fit in, but eventually they do, and they represent an amazing source, of like a huge knowledge information. The combination of the Page of Swords and the Star suggests to me that you may have gone through a few difficult things in the past, but you've gotten stronger and you have acquired a lot of experiences. You've been, Aquarius, through quite a lot the last 24 months. So definitely there were times when you had to be aggressive, otherwise you would have lost out on an opportunity. At other times, maybe you were a little bit kind of too truthful when you shouldn't have been, but you've learned a lot and everything is now coming together, and it's coming together beautifully. In the challenging position, we've got the Emperor and the Six of Swords. The Emperor, of course, is a major arcana card, and in fact you have quite a lot of major arcana cards in this reading, which suggests there's definitely kind of battling forces that are trying to move you in the direction that you need to go. But it really depends on you what choices you make, what decisions you make. The Emperor generally represents usually very positive sign. Generally represents authority and power and responsibility. He sort of knows what the right thing is to do. He's traditional. He's conservative. He's kind of like a person who likes to follow the rules. who, gets comfort from that. Tradition provides lack of surprises because you know how things are supposed to be. But in the negative position, to me, it suggests that you or someone you know could be very, very controlling, to the point where it's kind of smothering. It could be that you or someone you know is not really seeing reality, maybe following the wrong path that leads to a dead end, and sort of maybe even leaves you off in a worse situation that you kind of found yourself in. The Emperor is usually all about responsibility, so maybe you feel like you have bitten off too much that you could chew. Maybe you're a little bit overwhelmed by all the decisions that you have to make, by all the things that you have to take care of. And if you happen to be female, it could be that you're taking on a role of an authority figure that maybe sometimes has been occupied by, a male. It's definitely, a quite of a big obstacle that seems to me is in part at least created by your own doing. This person is definitely doing more harm than good, but this person doesn't see it that way necessarily. The Six of Swords is a card of generally known as a card of departure, moving away from drama, from rough waters to still waters to calm waters. To me, this card suggests that, because this person is in a boat, and all these swords are kind of stuck in the boat, it could be that the situation you're finding yourself in has a lot of holes, like it's not working out. Maybe you're trying to fix something, but it's not working out because, as you know, swords represent words, and it could be that someone has said quite a lot of hurtful words that cannot be forgiven or forgotten, and kind of destroyed a relationship. But these people are in a boat and they're on a water, and so it looks like whatever situation you're worried about, whether it's work related or whether it's like a home personal situation, it seems that whatever course of action you've decided to take is not working out. Maybe it's a friendship that you wish worked out, but it's unfortunately coming to an end. But definitely a very, very big warning from the divine that your emotions, you may not be in control of your emotions. It could be you that have said hurtful, critical, disparaging words. It could be that you are afraid to speak up, and you feel all this resentment because you're afraid to rock the boat, since it may sink. So it's kind of like maybe finding yourself in a situation where you want to address some things, but you don't dare address them because if you say anything, it will turn the boat over. So you kind of feel yourself maybe in this state of forced calmness where you have like repressed emotions, so that a fight does not break out. The combination, the Emperor and the Six of Swords, it could be that you've put your trust in the wrong people. It could be that, you are not seeing that there's a really, really serious lack of control over the situation, and that, a disaster is imminent. In the present position, we've got the Moon and the King of Cups. The Moon is facing the unknown. The Moon, and what is the unknown? Unknown is your fear, because you always, when you haven't been to a place and you're visiting for the first time, you imagine it one way, and it turns out to be a completely different way. The Moon is also about dreams and illusions. The Moon is about intuition. You are not really, maybe you haven't been in this situation before, or maybe you have, but not quite like this. There's definitely a very big element of the unknown to something that you're going through in the second part of August, Aquarius. There's clearly that I could tell that you're feeling stress a little bit. There are some parts of you that are feeling a little bit overwhelmed. There's definitely a little bit of repressed emotion, I feel. That is coming off very strongly in this reading, that something is not being said, something that is very important. And because of that, the situation can lead many different ways. Interestingly enough, the moon has these two towers. One tower represents good, another tower represents evil. And the path that lies ahead, it's sort of a bit of a choice. Which one are you going to choose? Are you going to steer towards evil and thereby cut corners, make a fast buck or something? Or, kind of not be truthful with the person that you love and, not want to rock the boat, only to find out later that the situation, is gotten very much worse? Or are you going to choose and sort of steer towards the good tower and make the right decisions, even though sometimes they're difficult? The King of Cups is an interesting character. It's usually a Scorpio. He's ruled by Scorpio, water sign. It's interesting to me because the water in this card is turbulent. So the King of Cups here, he remains calm when everything around him is chaotic and everything is just flying around, but he is steadfast. He doesn't let his emotions kind of show. Maybe he's totally scared on the inside, but he's not going to let it show. He understands the power of what am I trying to say here? He understands the power of image. He understands the power of fake it until you make it. Don't let other people see the weakness. Don't let other people see that you're self-doubting yourself. He remains confident in the face of something scary, and of course that is the unknown. So it could be a friend. It could be someone that is in your vicinity. It could also represent the energy or part of the energy that you're feeling. The King of Cups doesn't necessarily have to be good for everyone. Sometimes he represents bad behavior, like, overindulgence in something. Like, sometimes people like want to be merry because they want to feel that emotion of constant joy and happiness, and so they partake a little too much. So it could be a number of people in your life, and it's it's definitely the King of Cups is, for some of you, trying to shine the light into this difficult situation, this darkness, because the moon definitely represents a dark period. It could be that you just need to let things reveal themselves to you and just naturally happen, without forcing too much of your advice into situations. Just sort of see how things play out without really spending too much energy. You're definitely going through something here because the moon is a major arcana card and it's very, very powerful. It is also, I feel like I should say, make sure you don't confuse your intuition with your fear, because sometimes those two things, like, oh, I'm gonna move, because it's better for me, and I feel intuitively that's the right choice, but when in actuality it's fear speaking. So it's very important to make sure that you don't confuse those two things. It could also be, with the King of Cups and the moon, that you're really not having a clear view of the situation, because clearly your emotions are a little bit not thoroughly processed. There's something that you are not seeing or refusing to address, or maybe not unknowingly aware of something. There's something that is hidden, and it seems to be very, very important to the situation that concerns you. For some, it is a love relationship that concerns you the most. For others, it could be something at work. Remember to take what what resonates and leave the rest. Make sure that you focus on your emotions and allow your emotions to pass through. For example, a grudge is not allowing an emotion to pass through. It takes a very large amount of mental inner strength to allow a grudge to pass through and not stop, and sort of hold on to it. It helps a situation progress. Because justice and karma will come about. So when you focus or you try to control something too much, it could be to your own detriment. Sometimes it pays to let things play out. In the future outcome position, you've got the Sun and, of course, the Justice. The Sun is generally regarded as an extremely positive card, all about happiness, all about joy, all about fulfillment. Many people are very, very happy to see this card because it signifies, a minute of relief or some time of relief, where things are going the right way for once, or in quite a long while. It just makes people feel like, they're on the right track. Interestingly enough, we've got the moon and we've got the sun, and they're right next to each other. It's definitely, I feel like this reading is about duality. It's definitely a very powerful, very strong reading, especially because of all these major arcana cards. But life is definitely about duality. And when you are on top and things are going really good for you, make sure that you save energy, save resources, save what have you, to sustain you when things are not going so well. So definitely make sure to note that the moon has its advantages, as well as the sun also has its advantages. But the sun is not always, for some it's doesn't necessarily mean just blind happiness and everyone holds hands and sings kumbaya. For others, it could simply mean that there's some light shown onto something that used to be hidden, something that you weren't sure of. And that's what makes me feel like this reading is about, because there's some information, to me it seems, that comes to light, and there's fairness and compassion that is associated with it. In the future, there's some kind of a situation that comes to light, and it is accompanied by the light of justice, because the light is on justice. Some wrong has to be fixed, and justice is not a card of revenge, it's a card of realignment. So if you did things in the like if you hurt someone, in the past, maybe at work you spoke unkindly about someone, or gossiped or something, that means that that situation is going to come to light. As the justice will turn its wheels and will make the situation right, balance it out, because justice is all about fairness. It's all about kind of like court proceedings where justice is carried out, where wrongs are made right. Let's see if we can clarify some of this reading with the energy oracle cards. I pulled 3 energy oracle cards, and they are... We've got community, we've got goddess of the moon, again, the moon. The moon is again reiterating that you will be dealing with something unknown, and you may feel a little anxiety because it's fear is usually associated with the unknown, but it's actually going to work out just fine. And of course, door to spirit. Your soul definitely needs to get some attention from you to balance you out, so that all 3 elements, your heart, your mind, and your soul, are all kind of aligned in a generally right direction, so that you feel better, you feel like things are working out. But the community card is very much a card of people in your life that are supportive. when this card appears, it indicates an association of some kind. It may be a casual connection of like-minded people, joining a club or community of some sort, or even a business partnership consisting of 3 or more entities. The time is right to make such new connections and to share intentions, whether they're personal or professional. Networking and community are important parts of the human experience, and the security and sense of connection can be beneficial to all. It's true that when several people join their intentions, it accelerates their power in the energetic realm. Receiving this card puts you on notice that the universe is sending some beneficial alliances your way. Like the Happy Family card, this could also indicate a party or a celebration of some kind. So definitely, Aquarius, you're going to have people around you that you can use as, like support, whether you just need to lean on someone or receive some encouraging words. You definitely have people that in your life that very much care about you. The door to spirit is a card that says the door opens onto the expansive energetic realm where all new beginnings originate. The orbs of light are guiding you through the clouds of the earthly world, leading you to a deeper understanding of your eternal identity, the source of all true value and power. This door opens onto truly unlimited potential, for the changes that happen here reach deep into the core of your being. As such, this card often heralds your increasing powers in the spiritual arts and a deepening connection with the spirit world. Usually, when you have a deeper connection with the spirit world, is when sometimes you have dreams, or sometimes you notice things that you may not have otherwise noticed. When you're feeling a little bit sensitive, that is usually indicative that you're feeling kind of aligned with the spirituality and the divine world, and it's good for you. It makes your soul heal. The Goddess of the Moon is a card that shows an eternal spirit holding the bright reflective moon and standing in front of the crystal clear waters of a sparkling waterfall. Her arms are stretched upward, receiving the light of the moon, the light of inspiration. This card is all about intuition, the ability to receive insights from your soul's point of view. Receiving this card upright tells you that you have the power to get intuitive information in all types of issues, and now is the time to use it. The Goddess of the Moon brings you all sorts of information, from the mundane to the spectacular. For instance, you could get the urge to take a different route from home, and find out later that you've avoided a 3-hour traffic jam. You're always blessed with the intuition to connect, but this card is telling you that now is the perfect time to open up. Get ready for the amazing inspiration this brings. Let's see what angel answers we have. I also pulled 2 cards from the angel answer deck, and they are let go and peaceful resolution. Definitely let go is, to me, kind of relates to the Emperor in the negative position as well as the Moon, because sometimes trying to control definitely takes way too much energy and doesn't give you the outcome that you originally wanted. So the universe does encourage sometimes to surrender to the higher power, because then you're able to get to your goal, of course, much faster. This card says the time has come to let go of this situation. Stop focusing on how or when it will be solved, or even why it occurred. Relationships that are unhealthy or unfulfilling should be released in order to allow something better to come along. Don't worry, Source and your angels have everything under control. A key aspect to manifesting your desires is to ask for what you want and then to release it to heaven. If you've drawn this card, you may be holding on too tightly to the way your dreams will unfold. Make a wish and then leave the rest to your angels. And of course, the peaceful resolution to me suggests that things will, of course, come out the way you want it. I mean, you've got the peaceful resolution, you've got the sun, you've got a lot of good omens, the door to spirit as well. You've got a lot of good omens that are definitely pointing that you're heading in the right direction. And Aquarius, you're very, very smart, you're very, very intelligent. And I also believe that you do have quite a lot of intuition. So I think that you are, going to have a few moments of self-doubt and not, sure how to proceed. But generally for most of you, the second part of August is going to be a breeze. I hope you enjoyed this reading. If you did, please like, share, and subscribe. Thank you so much for visiting, and I will see you next time.